The new consoles are here and well established, and many of us have moved on, but there are still thousands of games available for those last-gen platforms. It's crazy to think that the last console generation is nearly a decade old, and in another 10 years, they'll be almost considered retro. But before that happens, we wanted to make sure you had a chance to check out all these classics you might have missed. The best part is you could probably grab all these together for like $100. Hey, I'm Nervous Nick for Screw Attack's Top 10 Hidden Gems of the last console generation.
Number 10.
If you have a friend, and sorry if you don't, and a free afternoon, we highly recommend picking up Double Dragon Neon. I mean, there aren't very many games nowadays with a dedicated high-five action. The vibrant neon visuals make the simple, satisfying task of beating up big-bosomed ladies that much sweeter. We'd like to think that this is the visual style that the original wanted to look like. Sure, you could complete it in a short afternoon, but the longer you play it, the better the mechanics feel. And it is worth playing through multiple times just to hear that soundtrack.
Number 9.
Before From Software became more of a household name with Dark Souls and Bloodborne, they were making one of the most beautiful games in the PlayStation 3's library. 3D Dot Game Heroes takes very apparent inspirations from The Legend of Zelda. The cubey, pixelated style is bright, colorful, and charming. You could build your own character from scratch and switch your heroes whenever you wanted, letting you play as any creature you could come up with. Murdering baddies caused their pixel blocks to explode across the stage, and you could even get powerful swords whose swings could go through walls and take out entire screens of enemies. Man, that would have been really handy in Link's Awakening.
Number 8.
Even though this is basically a grown-up Mario Kart for people that love using licensed cars, most people can't remember any trailers or marketing for this game. Produced by Activision, Blur had simple, fun tracks and vehicular combat that featured power-ups like boosts, projectiles, and shields. Get the local 4-player co-op going, and you're sure to have heated competition that's just as zany and hellish as the Mario Kart series. Except for driving Dodge Vipers and Range Rovers. The single player was a little plain, but if you want Mario Kart thrills and don't have a Nintendo console, you can't go wrong with Blur.
Number 7.
A Suda51 game is a hidden gem! Whoa, what a surprise! Well, you will be surprised by Shadows of the Damned. This game is as out there as anything else Suda has done, but without the No More Heroes sales figures. It follows a simple premise. The Lord of the Demons took the wrong hunter's girlfriend, and now it's on. Accompanied by your trusty sidekick Johnson, go to hell and back with the occasional aid of a half-demon hillbilly to save your lady. Let all the demons know who's the boss with your skull blaster, your dentist, and your hot boner. I'm not talking about flesh, I'm talking about your upgraded pistol. No, I don't mean like that kind of... Never mind, let's just get to the next number.
Number 6.
How can someone with such a big smart brain get hypnotized like a little huh? Now pull your head out of your goddamn ass and start helping us!
You might think Nier is just another Square RPG, but you would be wrong! It's true it has a female character with far too little clothing, a dying family member, a talking book, and okay, it's pretty much just another Square RPG, but its unique battle system, quirky style, and awesome Bayonetta-esque boss fights add up to give it that special feeling that keeps you playing until you realize it's 4 AM. Carried by its diverse gameplay and surprisingly lively cast of characters with their blend of both funny and intense dialogue, Nier is a unique experience that you won't find anywhere else.
Number 5.
We're not completely sure what the heck was going on in the minds of the publisher team behind Enslaved Odyssey to the West. What made them think it was wise to release a new, strange IP during the holiday season, cramped mercilessly between Halo Reach, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Gran Turismo 5, Final Fantasy XIV, and, oh yeah, a little game called Call of Duty Black Ops? Featuring epic set pieces and mocap from Andy Serkis, Enslaved garnered a cult following since its debut in fall 2010. It's got platforming straight out of Uncharted, solid combat, and hoverboards! But even all of that wasn't enough to make this stand out from the blockbuster crowd, which is really a shame. Enslaved has a lush, colorful world that non-Nintendo consoles don't usually get a lot of. When you imagine the apocalypse, it's never this beautiful.
Number 4.
When you think about a major franchise getting a Wii version, apathy is the first emotion most people go through. But taking the Dead Space franchise and working it into a rail shooter not only worked masterfully, it resulted in one of the best spin-offs ever. Dead Space Extraction goes back to the origins of the Necromorphs, explaining how the Ishimura became the floating haunted house that we all enjoyed in the original. It was better than normal rail-based shooters because of refreshing mechanics, like allowing players to turn the Wiimote to decide how best to sever the limbs of the monstrosities that attack. It was so successful as a Wii title that Dead Space 2 DLC had you play as characters from Extraction's storyline, and it was also ported to PlayStation 3 with Move support. But you probably don't have one of those, so go dust off the Wii and grab a friend for some scary co-op action.
Number 3.
Driver San Fran has perhaps the most unique mechanic in an action racing game ever. Lead protagonist Tanner is in a coma throughout the narrative, giving his consciousness the ability to pull the map back during gameplay and warp into the driver's seat of any car on the road. This means that you could be chasing down a bad guy, pull up the map in slow motion, warp into an 18-wheeler down the road in the oncoming lane, and come at the man you're pursuing head on. You remember the agents during that Matrix Reloaded freeway chase where they could zap themselves into any car to catch Morpheus and Trinity? It's like that, but with all agents. With a wide assortment of cars and even a new game plus, you can pour dozens of hours into the single player alone. Get Driver San Francisco.
Number 2.
Just like Enslaved, Vanquish was another new game lost in the holiday sea of AAA releases in 2010. There is no other game quite like Vanquish. Yeah, the voice acting is a little rough and dorky, but it's a game that's totally aware of its cheesiness. Shinji Mikami crafted a third-person shooter that's actually in line with shmups and bullet hell games from the days of yesteryear. Aside from the coolness of his standard animations, like the way he throws grenades like footballs because he used to be a quarterback, Vanquish's protagonist Sam Gideon might just have the coolest power suit in all of gaming. It's got rocket boosters for sliding around the battlefield, a slow-mo mode that makes you strike a fabulous pose when you gun down baddies, and crazy boss battles that make us want to slap anyone who says, "Ugh, there's no innovation in gaming anymore." Shut up! We're almost at the number 1 hidden gem of last gen, but before we get there, allow us to do a recap. Number 10, Double Dragon Neon. Number 9, 3D Dot Game Heroes. Number 8, Mario Kart for Adults. Number 7, that Suda51 game you've never heard of. Number 6, Nier. Number 5, Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Number 4, Dead Space Extraction for the Wii. Number 3, Driver San Francisco. And number 2, Vanquish.
It's number 1.
In the most dominant genre, the FPS, it's really hard to innovate and stand out. And that is exactly the reason why Singularity takes our number 1 spot. Time manipulation admittedly has been done before, but not quite like this. Equipped with a TMD, or time manipulation device, this glove-like awesomeness allows you to manipulate objects in the game world for puzzle solving by warping them back and forth into the future and past versions of themselves. But, more importantly, the TMD aids in combat. You can use it to make people age so fast they disintegrate, or throw up domes that put everything inside of it into slow motion. Fully upgradable, you could even use it like the gravity gun from Half-Life 2. What makes Singularity's time manipulation stand out is that it's used as a mechanic, not just a gimmick. We're sure naysayers would argue that the world and the characters weren't the most original, but we would counter-argue by showing them how freaking awesome the Seeker is. That's a gun that shoots player-controlled explosive bullets in slow motion for you laymen's out there. No big deal. Thank you so much for watching. We worked really hard on this list, and these choices did not come lightly, so be sure to leave your top 10 hidden gems in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like it, share it, and subscribe to Screw Attack. We greatly appreciate it. But don't go anywhere, because we've got another episode of Top 10 with the greatest psychos in gaming coming up next. Or, if you prefer, you can click the thumbnail to the left to watch the reasons we love Assassin's Creed. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.